Hello and welcome to this unit on higher education system. In this video, I'll discuss Oriental, conventional and non-conventional learning in India. So first, let's discuss Oriental learning. So the word Orient means the East, and the Asian and the Eastern societies. One of the positive results of the British conquest of India was that there was really the interest that was aroused in learning about the Indian civilization, the Indian culture, which was there in existence for thousands of years. And a lot of these Western scholars and philosophers, they started digging in deep into the wisdom of this culture, of this society. And Indology is really nothing but the science of study of culture in all its aspects. So what they started doing was that they started studying and reading more about the ancient knowledge, and there was a lot of wisdom, right, in our ancient cultures and in the country. So they wanted to revive it and they wanted to preserve it. I think that was a very, very positive thing. And then a lot of research institutes were specially started and which were devoted to these Indological studies. And what these institutes would do is that they would collect and collate a lot of rare manuscripts in the Oriental languages like Prakrit, Sanskrit, and they used to deal with multiple facets like religion, literature, philosophy, grammar, arts and sciences, and to really edit them and publish them for use for the present and the future generations. In fact, there are today many Oriental research institutes across the country. I'll discuss a few. So one is the INDIRA Library and Research Center in Chennai. Now this Theosophical Society was started in 1882 at INDIRA in Chennai, and it has more than 1,75,000 printed books, 18,000 plus manuscripts, and these books really are a collection of rare Indological works of different religions, philosophies. In fact, 108 Upanishads publication is a great achievement which is noteworthy. You also have the Asiatic Society. Now this is really recognized as a research center for Indological studies in India and abroad. Sir William Jones started this in 1794, and it's an extensive library which includes journals and books in almost all Asian and European languages. It has a large collection of valuable manuscripts in Sanskrit, Persian, Arabic, Tibetan, Burmese and few Indian languages. You also have the Oriental Institute at Baroda, which was started by Sayaji Rao, the then Dewan in 1893. And this was to develop a well-equipped library of rare and unpublished manuscripts on Oriental and Indological subjects. You also have at Mysore and Tirupati the Oriental Research Institute. So the temple town of Tirupati, which is in Andhra Pradesh, is not only a place of pilgrimage but also there was Oriental learning institutes that were here. These institutes promote the research and textual studies in the areas of Sanskrit, Telugu, philosophy, religion, etc. The Oriental Research Institute of Tirupati came into being in 1941, whereas the Oriental Research Institute of Mysore was founded in 1891, concentrating mainly on connection of valuable manuscripts of treaties in Sanskrit and Kannada. So these are a few of the big research institutes, Oriental research institutes that are present in the country today. Now let's switch gears a little bit after understanding the Oriental learning, and let's come to what is conventional and non-conventional. So first I would like to draw a parallel between conventional learning and the modern education. So if you look at conventional education, which we discussed about in ancient Indian education as well, it was mostly through oral recitation. So the guru would recite, oral hymns, and students would understand. Also, the students and teachers are placed together, whether it is gurukuls, etc. And this was really mostly the knowledge about values, about religion, about customs, cultures, and the role of technology was very limited. And conventional education, unfortunately, in ancient India was not available for all. Only people who were from higher caste and high society were able to enjoy the privileges of education. Not everybody enjoyed the same privilege. While as the modern education, if you see, it teaches about skills of science, technology, And it's not just listening, it's not just the oral recitation by the teacher or the professor, but also it involves visualizing, writing, imagining, thinking, and a lot of these aspects. And the methodology, if you see, is very interactive today. A huge role of technology is there, and modern education, in fact, as per our constitution, right, the national policy of education we have studied in previous videos, it's about providing the education to all. So modern education is also accessible to all, and technology plays a big role there. Also, the traditional and the distance education, if you see the comparison, so the traditional learning has a huge infrastructure cost. It is more structured. The problem is it is restricted to a location, and not everybody can afford traditional schools and colleges, and this is really exclusive for a certain section. Whereas if you look at the open and distance learning in India, it is to make sure that we are giving this as a correspondence learning, meaning students can study at their own pace. Teachers and learners need not necessarily be present at the same place or at the same time, and this is in a digital mode, so definitely technology plays a big role. Indira Gandhi Open Universities, you have you have state open universities, you have Commonwealth of Learning. The regulatory power of these open and distance learning is today vested with UGC, and 13 state open universities were set up by the respective state grants. So that's really the difference between open and distance learning. A little more about distance education, as we could expect a couple of questions on this, is that the objective of distance education was that when we started, during our 5-year plans, and when the government really took a note, the Ministry of Education took a note, they realized that not everybody is able to go through the conventional learning. So we want to supplement the conventional university system. We want to provide to the citizens of this country an informal channel of higher education, and we definitely want to democratize higher education by providing access to the disadvantaged groups who are not placed at the right location, right, whatever, they could have a distance disadvantage, but to democratize it. And the features of distance education is that it's very cost effective. It's not as costly as the traditional classrooms. Secondly, it's flexible and open. Third, it provides a second chance to folks who unfortunately could not continue their formal education. And for people, irrespective of your age, it provides really the lifelong learning, meaning no matter what your age, but you can learn through distance education. And if you look at the evolution of distance education, right, it has really evolved, and today when we talk about the 5th generation of distance education, it is highly flexible in terms of time, place, right, whether it's the different learning models that are there, campus portal access to institutional processes, whether it's computer mediated, whether it's internet based, interactive multimedia, and you get highly refined materials and advanced interactive delivery. So these are really the characteristics of the ways how you can deliver distance education. You also have the Indira Gandhi National Open University, so there could be questions on this. Now, this was established in 1985, and the objective, if you look at IGNOU's objective, it was really established as an act of parliament with two responsibilities. One, enhancing the access and equity to higher education. So you are making sure you are enhancing the access and equity to higher education through distance mode. Secondly, you're promoting, its role is to promote, to coordinate, and to determine standards in open learning and distance education systems. So these were the objectives. Also, as per IGNOU Act, universities have to offer a degree, diploma, or certificate program related to the needs of employment. They can provide opportunities for higher education to a large cross section of people. That was really about IGNOU. It was also to encourage an innovative system of university level education which is flexible and open. So this is about the Indira Gandhi National Open University. Last that we'll discuss is SAKSHAT, one stop education portal, which was launched on October 30 by 2006 by the President of the country, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Now, the objective of this was to facilitate lifelong learning of students, teachers, and those in employment or in pursuit of knowledge free of cost. So it was absolutely free of cost, and from school education to up to whatever highest level of education you can get from here. So this knowledge was for anyone at any time. Also, what the vision was that how do we leverage ICT, which is information communication technology, in the higher education space, and how do we cater to the learning needs of more than 50 crore people through this national mission. So the mission of this SAKSHAT was to reach more than 50 crore people, and through this proposed scheme of NME ICT, and to provide connectivity to all institutions of higher learning to a world of knowledge in cyberspace, and to address the personalized needs of learners in order to take care of their aspirations. So we've covered a lot of things in this particular video. We learned about the Oriental learning, we learned about Oriental research institutes, we learned about the traditional and the non-traditional methods like the open and distance learning. So thank you for watching this video, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.